Any further discussion? Call for the question, Mr. Farmer?
Yes.
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 Yes. Chair votes yes. Additions and deletions to the minutes, February 3rd, 2016 special meeting.
Don't move to approve.
Mr. Gillick moved.
Second.
Mr. Thompson, second. Discussion? Being no discussion, call for the question, Mr. Farmer?
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Bregman?
Yes.
Yes. Chair, yes. Okay, construction project update, outstanding control issue in the plant. I'll open this discussion. I met with Greg, and because I've heard in the past, before I took the chair position, that we had some outstanding issues, that's what brought this all up. So in the discussion, we generated a list that were kind of on, some of them were ongoing and some that they just recognized. And so we drew up a list, and what this entails too is one of the agenda items at the bottom. It ties into, we want a decision today if we're going to close out our loan, because and this will, we have some questions for the engineer, because if we close out our loan, we have to start next month, because it's, the closeout date would be then June, is that correct? Stacy?
Yes.
Yeah. So anyways, I'd like to, could you address the board, please?
Yeah.
It's Mark, right?
Yeah, good morning. Yeah, Mark Allen with Smith Gold Team.
Have you seen this list?
Yeah, Greg and I, well, you know, we talk 4 or 5 times a week. So I guess with respect to, first of all, just, you know, yesterday morning, like I say, you know, I received an email here finally from Terry Moore at Automatic Systems, going through and on the bypass valve out of the, you know, out at the flow equalization basin. You know, that's been one of Greg Clow's, you know, that's actually a photo of the termination points out there that he's marked. And so, you know, continuing to work with that. And like I said, I did get a response back from Automatic Systems here at 8:27 a.m. yesterday morning. So with, you know, and Terry's provided most of the information we need now. So I'll be working with Jeff Clow to make, you know, get these terminations, and then, you know, working on positioning that bypass valve through the control system that, you know, that Terry set up, you know, that last August. Now we may, you know, Brian Hansen from Hunt, you know, 2 years ago pulled 3 wires. Not sure if those are the correct wires. You know, technically we may have to get an electrician out. It's about 90 feet of, you know, the conduit's there, but we may have to pull, you know, the correct cable shielded wires for a 4 to 20 milliamp signal, you know, for that item. So that's one of the items that, like I say, you know, we've been working with staff on, and finally got a, you know, but they finally responded to my email from the mid-January after I started calling them last week to get that done.
Say, Mark,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yep.
But as you go through that, that was item number 1. And could you, as you go through these, whichever ones you're going to go through, could you tell us whose responsibility it is to do that work, and who's going to pay for it, and
Well, I guess
et cetera, et cetera?
No, I guess I'll have, Stacey, do you have a copy of the list? Oh, sorry.
No problem.
Okay. All right. Well, item one, like I said, needs to be wired and completed. Right now, you know, most of the control work is done. John, like I say, if we have to pull new wires, you know, we'll have to hire, you know, from the standpoint because what was in there, you know, we'll have to hire a local electrician, and you know that would be, you know, something that the North Cooch, which is part of your maintenance and everything, is gonna, you know, have to handle. As far as 2, you know, the erosion on the PF, you know, from when Gritter was working there, you know, I mean, well, as a gentleman, I personally wiped off, I mixed up the sodium, you know, chloride solution, and cleaned them off. I mean, it's not come back. I don't know, you know, I can't tell you what caused that. You know, I mean, Ritter was here for 3.5 years, or 2.5 years, excuse me, working. So, you know, we cleaned up. It's not reoccurred, Greg. I mean, like you say, it's, you know, I've taken all the photos. It's not reoccurred. So, from the standpoint of, you know, nothing was damaged, I'll say, other than you have, you know, the front of those old Healy rough panels are, you know, discolored. You know, they have.
In other words, that's going to be our responsibility if we want to do anything about it.
If you want to do anything about it,
Right, okay.
you know,
I just want to
ask
make
them.
sure that.
Yep. All right. Then item 3, the roadways. You know, right now, Ritter offered $4,000, which you took that credit. You know, Carl Bowman estimated he could do it for, I think the number was around $1,800. You know, so this spring, when you come back, we can make the repairs. You'll be, I assume, working with Bowman Construction to come back and make those repairs, and then you'd be using whatever, you know, Carl needs to fix that up. You know, then you kept the $4,000 from Ritter. So hopefully you would have some of
We'll
that.
just pay that. We'll just pay for the work.
You're going to pay whatever local contractor you hire to do that.
Okay.
You're going to use that money that you held them.
Yep.
All right. Computer software programs.
Let's go number 4.
Oh, sorry. Yep, like the boiler alarms, like was not starting. We did not have prints for boiler control or the heating system, you know, the cooling systems. So I don't know right now. Like I say, I've left a message with General Heating in Duluth, Scott Boston. Greg and I are talking about this. We'll look at it a little bit more today, and then we may decide it may actually be more prudent to have automatic systems, see if they can address it or not remotely through their SCADA system. John, I can't tell you what, you know, if any cost will be associated with that. Right now, I've got to find out from automatic systems, can they do a remote, remotely over the internet do the program modifications, or they need to physically come to the plant. That's a conversation I had with Terry Moore at Automatic Systems on Friday.
Okay, then we'll be paying for this one, North Coach.
Yeah, if
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, we made that decision that we would take the Gritter settlement, and
Right.
we won't borrow that. I mean, and so, you know, Gritter's doing this, but we're going to take care of it.
We're going to be liable for some of these.
Yep.
We don't have anything to stand on. One question about the SCADA system. They can remotely connect to the HMI and stuff through the internet or through fiber?
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Well, that's what Terry told me Friday. He was going to further review that with Jane on Automatic Systems. And he did not respond to that question in my email yesterday morning. So I've yet to confirm that exact fact of what they would need to do, or does there need to be something added here at this end that will allow them?
Greg, do you know if there's a modem connection to the HMI through the internet?
So,
There is? Okay, thank you.
All right. And then I talked to Automatic, well, I sent Jay at Automatic Systems a memo that said, look at my email last October, where's the program? Okay, I got an email from him yesterday that he claims he personally put it in UPS, and Stacy will be seeing it this week. So we'll...
Taken care of. This is
supposedly,
supposedly.
I followed up because Greg said he didn't remember seeing it. So last Friday, I followed up, or it might have been Thursday, followed up the email. I know sometime around noon yesterday, I got an email from Jay that he said, I didn't, I guess you,
we can mark that in the mail then.
Yeah. And then, well, that's the polyflow then, I still have to get one from Ashbrook Simon Hartley on their gravity belt thickener. And, so, like I say, that's the major one. I mean, that is the major one. I have a couple of minor ones that I'm still working, with the manufacturers.
Is that software or?
Well, it's the actual programming.
Okay, would that entail the HVAC controller? Did you list that in your punch list?
that air handling system?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's on there too.
Okay.
They should provide that free. I mean, right? That's part of the job.
Yes,
They should provide that free.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. And then again, like I say, updated electrical prints for the EQ and gravity belt thickener. That's coming from, Ashbrook Simon Hartley. Again, John, there would be no, I mean, that's just drawings they have to get us information on. Greg pointed out, we're probably still missing, we know of 2, and I'm guessing there might be 2 O&M manuals that we still have to get. You know, we probably received about, I want to say somewhere around 30 O&M manuals from various manufacturers. You know, Greg's going through his list, and there's a couple that we're aware of that we have to get back to the manufacturers to receive. All right, I guess, Greg, as far as the number 7, as far as the alarms from your sump pumps and everything,
Yep.
I say, I just talked to you, that's the first time I heard of it last week, so you and I are gonna have to actually go through and mark, I mean, I know you gave me the 4 that were and the 4 that are, but I gotta look further into that because this, item 7 I just was aware of last week, so we'll have
See
to
if they were
see.
supposed to have alarms,
Yes, yep,
another ones?
so I still have to get into that. And then, number 8, they say as far as the boiler relief pressure, working at, that Mr. Larry Van Help from our Alex office has to come up and work with Greg on, as part of the, the end of our engineering agreement here because he's most familiar with that. He actually designed, started on that back in the late 80s, so he's most familiar with that, and I'm not gonna try to understand it to his level.
You mean the safety relief is set at the same pressure? Because safety relief on the roof boiler is the same relief pressure as the boiler operating pressure, so what is it, discharging all the time?
No, in the wintertime, staff is burning all your excess methane gas in the boilers. Okay? It's just, then in the summer when it's not using it then, right, it'll either vent to the, it'll vent to the atmosphere or, we have a burner, the new burner is to, instead of venting to the atmosphere, which was doing for decades, now hopefully we'll burn it off. Very similar to just a flare at an oil well.
Okay.
You're just burning it off. But I mean, right now, Greg, my credit, I mean, you burn 100% of your methane gas on the winter, that's what you want to do. I mean, you're burning the gas, you're not buying natural gas from somebody else.
Is that the correct operating sequence is to use the relief as, operating and relieving the pressure?
Well, that's the safety mechanism.
I know, I understand, but they're using the safety mechanism as a control function too, or not? You said that it's relieving quite a bit of the time, right? Because it's set at the same pressures, or not?
I guess I can't answer the question from the standpoint I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
I know, discussing with staff that in the wintertime, it isn't really, 100% of the methane that is being created in the digesters is being burned in the boilers. Now, come summer operations, that's what we need because we need to adjust the pressure. Typically, you're operating around 14 inches, I believe, of pressure, and we think we need to get up somewhere between 16 and 17 inches of pressure. To get that to work at the methane burner system, so it doesn't vent out.
Okay, I understand.
And they say, and that's what Larry needs to look at because there is those domes were designed for a certain. That doesn't sound like a lot of pressure, but a half a psi over a square foot is 72 pounds. So 50 foot down.
In other words, I mean, they can get it to work. I got no doubt that they can get it to work. It's not how the manufacturer recommends that they run it. Basically.
Yeah. Varus, like you said, correct, John, we may be operating an inch or two above their recommendation,
Right, yeah.
but we still need to, there is a safety factor and everything.
Yeah.
And if we feel comfortable with it,
Yeah.
that's where we're going to go with it.
All right. Thank you.
All right, and let's see, the Greg, the test kits for your gas monitors, that's in the preliminary treatment
And EQ.
and the EQs. Okay, so that's something from Mr. Scott Vossen. So I'll have to look at that, and then the number 10 computer. You said. So that's the 3-way out in the valley. Yeah. So is that something? I mean, Peter Nelson with IPS out of Boston. We talked. Is that something that he still has yet to?
He has not come yet.
Okay. I mean, he's been up at Little Fork almost all winter working on the water plant there. So.
Are you going to be contacting him about?
Yes, I will contact you because they say I apologize. I assume Pete had taken care of this because he's been in Big Falls at the water plant there and in Little Fork many times. and he said, he's out of Boston. When he was coming up, he was gonna be,
I wonder if a small UPS would correct that problem if we're having bumps on incoming power to ride us through that.
well, I say, I can call Pete Nelson today
Right.
and ask him to,
Ask them, all right.
unless we get a trip up here and get it fixed, if you're not making it as part of one of the other trips, that's fine. You come this way enough that you can address it. Because he put that system in as an alternate to, we had a proposal way back in the contract for almost $20,000 for automatic systems in gritter construction. And then Pete put in a small radio-to-radio system it was under 10,000, it was 9,000 and something. But, so they say that's his system that he is in, so he needs to address it.
Okay.
Yep. All right. And then 11, last fall we did, Lakeside did send a new motor, actually. It's about a 3/4 horsepower this time versus the half that was in there for the first 3 years of operation. But Jeff said, so this spring staff is gonna, part of their regular maintenance for the plant, they're gonna drain the clarifier and just seeing if the sludge rake arm is something scraping or what, eliminate the possibility of something just rubbing on the floor or causing additional torque that's, causing this, to operate up at its, because now even on the 3/4 horse motor, Jeff Plow has noted that it's running near its full load amps, so we gotta find out why it's doing that. So,
One question about that one, if it's running near its full load amps, but is it, the current's not over the nameplate rating of
I
it?
think it might be a little bit over it.
well, yeah, because the motor has, I think it's 150% or 120%.
Yeah.
Yeah, that half horsepower motor was running, at 105, 110, it was running over the nameplate amp drop.
Because when I looked with Greg at the prints and stuff, it looks like it's a mechanical torque switch that's actually giving the alarm.
And that's alarming, and it's also overamping.
Right, so those two things being, there appears to be a problem, The torque switch is actually, opening up, and then the motor's actually drawing the current, so there must be definitely something going on.
Well, and they say that,
Yeah.
staff talked to me, they say when, it's part of when the sun gets higher and it gets a little warmer out, they'll be draining down that primary clarifier
Okay.
to look to see is there something, if one of the squeegees fall off one of the rake arms and it's just, flipped under and it's binding or what's causing that to work on. And then like I say, Greg, noted that he had contacted Myers about, the hardware down on the, various chlorine building. And I guess, Greg, when you say fixed that were damaged during project or never replaced, I mean, I know, I'm aware of one door they damaged, but I mean, most of, they were just never in the contract to replace the hardware, like on the 3 west doors, the 3 north doors on that, from that standpoint.
On the SO2 and the chlorine room, but that center room there, that's the one that was wrecked.
Yep, that they were in and out of,
Yeah.
1,000 times, because that's where that's where all the new equipment was installed in the new PCS6. From that. So I guess, John, from the standpoint of, we'll see what that is. I mean, part of it, we have that, again, you have the $4,000 that we did, if, like you say, it would be the board's choice to use part of this money, from that standpoint. But if you get something with your local contractor supplier to fix those doors, we can, it's your decision to use that money if you want to for those doors.
I'm just trying to look at this list, and I'm not sure, but it doesn't seem to me that would be much more than expenditures on our part for over 20,000, something like that, or 25,000. And mostly software and documentation stuff. And so, but we got to find money in our budget, in which in the instrumentation budget, it's only $5,000 this year. So we just got to figure out a place to.
Right, and some of these, like Mark said, the vendors were going to supply, but the biggest one on here is this software stuff. That's pretty pricey stuff when you ask for it. But they said they were going to be giving us that.
Well, they're giving us all the programming.
Right.
Is, what I don't know is if there's, the biggest one will be, if, on the boiler alarms, if between boss, if it actually works out, it's gonna be better to have Terry Moore with automatic systems. you know, the question is, right, if he has to drive up here from the Twin Cities,
Right.
spend the night, work here all day and go back, you're talking a, $3,000 cost.
Would you care to venture a guess, ballpark, on, if we do what we think that we have to do, what are we talking about, money-wise?
I would say less than 10.
Yeah, I would agree, if you had, all these control items, like the sump pumps and everything is, John, from the stand, the best thing to do with that would be to put them all on a comprehensive list and then go back to automatic systems and ask, all right, what is it gonna take for a site visit up to go through this list? And, you say, oh, it shouldn't see, but those guys can sit for hours in front of the screens typing their programming.
The only thing is, we're time constrained here a little bit with closing out the loans. And
We
so,
can extend it again.
PFA.
Well, I would offer, John, we would try to, the direction now is, let's complete these items, and then if we, can maintain our schedule to close out sometime in June, I would agree, that would be preferable, rather than, and I don't know, Stacy, if you know with Nancy, as far as extensions, do they come, can you do them just a month, or, there is no set time?
I don't think so.
but we were gonna make our decision next meeting, or
No, this
in
meeting.
March, was it?
Close out the loan,
Yeah.
it's on the agenda today.
Okay.
So we'll talk about that when we
All
get
right,
there, about
okay.
closing it out.
Mark, so we don't have to approach Gritter anymore. We're gonna work
Right.
with his subs.
Well, it would be just the automatic systems, who was it's actually a sub of Hunt Electric, who was, right, but they were one of the many subcontractors on the project, through Ritter Construction. Now, when I say that, no, Pete Nelson out of Boston, you hired him just separately. He had nothing to do with Ritter. We brought him to do that radio controller for the three-way valve with Ponce, because he did it for less than half the cost that Automatic Systems offered for us in a change order. You did, throughout the project, there was half a dozen things. You worked with Pellin Welding and had them provide bid. I forget, there was some number, $20,000 or $40,000 of items that you spent, just, with local contractors or doing something throughout the project.
On the number 12, Greg, that door was replaced the wrong size, so it's a brand new door, but it's the wrong size.
Well, that's on
Number 12.
the gas mixing room.
Yeah.
I think what happened, that door was supposed to be replaced, and they had the wrong size door here, and ended up going back with Gritter, and it was never replaced on the gas mixing room. The old gas mixing room.
The old gas mixing.
That's
Yeah.
not an overhead, that's just a,
It's just a door.
oh,
It's a 3-foot,
Oh.
hollow metal door, no window.
okay.
All right, well, like I say, then, Stacy has, you're talking about your closeout. At that time, I'd like to talk a little bit about some TMDL monies that are left over. And if I talked to John Harrison Greg this morning, and, maybe we could, it's, grant money that's sitting out there and it'll go back to somebody else. So we could possibly talk to PFA about purchasing a couple of items and just using that money for that.
Okay?
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
That was quite helpful, just going through this list.
Disbursements, February disbursements in the amount of $65,464.88, includes blanket authorization payment.
So move to approve.
Mr. Billy moved. Mr. Thompson second. Discussion. Mr. Blair.
I thought that the severance package was gonna come out of that 16 budget. And it looks like it came out of the 15 budget, and I don't know.
I thought that's what we had ended up, that it was the 15 budget. That was the final word at the end of the last meeting.
Yeah. So. The question is what?
And I don't think it would have mattered if I wrote the check in December or January. Anything in January still kind of comes out of the 15 budget.
I know though, I was told it was gonna come out of the 16 budget, and that even though the check was cut in December, that's kinda the same situation as if you're gonna pay your insurance premiums for January, the checks are always cut in December, so it's still out of the 16 budget, even though the checks are cut in December.
It's usually a carryover for 1 month, is what we discovered. And I believe the reason you voted no was because we told you it was coming out of the 15 budget.
I voted no, 'cause, yeah, I was told it was coming out of the 16 budget, and it was in the 15 disbursements. I thought that was gonna get changed.
Well, we had money left over in the 15 budget, so why, because this year's budget's gonna be very tight.
Okay. So it's better off it's in the.
I would think so, yeah, because our flows, anticipated flows don't look very good for the spring. Any further questions? Mr. Gardner?
Are we ready for questions?
Yes.
I'm just wondering about the Minnesota Power bill. We paid a partial bill in December, or for electricity for December. We paid a partial bill, and then
And then the only piece that came prior to the meeting was the plant for $4,492. So this that was paid under blanket was the office, the EQ, the part, 15th and 5th. That all comes, that'll probably come today in the mail. And has to be paid before the next bill goes out, or else we get charged late charges.
I just don't understand why these big utilities, and we're a good customer, and why they won't change their billing cycle so that, to our benefit. But
I've called, they will not.
I know they won't. I tried it before myself. But
We're gonna address that under blanket authorizations and stuff, so that won't be a problem. And the power bill was high this month because it was an extended read from last month. It was 38 days. Any other further discussion? Mr.
I was
Gardner?
wondering on that East Cooch Sewer District, the surge diverters, and that's North Cooch's responsibility? They're electric surge diverters, Canner Electric. There's $263 for, it says NK expense, it's on the first page.
Oh, it was a North Cooch expense, but I asked, it came through first as an East Cooch, and it was wrong. So East Cooch had paid the bill to Cantor, so we owe East Cooch back that money.
So that was for the plant here? Okay. Wasn't on lift stations or?
No, it wasn't.
Any other further discussion on disbursements? There being none, Bob, Mr. Blair?
I have another question on page 2.
Yes.
LM, middle of the page, LMCIT, 2016 coverage, $10,699. I guess I don't know what that is.
Workman's
Legal
comp.
Minnesota.
Oh, okay.
did our comp go way up?
No. Further discussion? Call for the question. Mr.
Yes.
Farmer?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, financial reports.
I'll move to approve.
Billy, so moved to approve.
Second.
Mr. Blair, second.
I have a question.
Discussion.
On, when you compare the January 2016, the first column,
Are you on income and expense previous year? Or the 29? Which report?
income and expense. And if you go down on the first page,
Okay,
the gross profit expenses, and you have salaries, admin, you have Stacy, and you have the executive director as salary in 2016. I don't understand why he would have a salary in 2016.
I'll let the admin explain that to you.
City pays 2 weeks behind. So he worked through the end of December. He's not gonna get paid till the
Okay,
second
so
week in
that
January.
Had nothing to do with his severance.
Nothing, and he couldn't get his severance till after his original pay was paid. That's why he wasn't paid till January 19th, or 29th, I guess.
That's when you'll see under PRA and also Social Security, you'll see him come up, and that's all tied
Okay.
to the payroll. Thank you. And then on the second page, dental life too, that's all tied to his payroll thing. Further questions? Mr. Brueggemann?
Well, I'm not seeing the page where it shows our, what you call it, our financial position as far as our bank accounts and whatever. Oh, here it is, right back here.
Is that checking savings and investments?
Yeah, I got it here now. Okay. Are we gonna talk at a later date about restating this, or to, come up with, make it clearer for which are dedicated funds?
Yes.
And reserve?
Definitely.
Okay.
They call that what, capital something, 50 cents per thousand?
No, this is totally different. That's our WIF account. We were gonna dedicate funds for operations and maintenance, and then, so then we knew how much fluid cash we had on hand at any one time. So we have our dedicated accounts in our financial report, so they would subtract out from our cash balance, so we'd actually know what is available in our cash balances, that we could, it would be very liquid to us. That's the point we're gonna get at down the road.
Okay.
Further discussion? Call for the question?
Yes.
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 All yeses today. Okay, old business. Let's just read it here. Old business approval of John Harris to attend a 3-day seminar for 16 CEUs for his Class B license and write Class A license.
So moved to approve.
Moved by Don, seconded by Mr. Thompson. Discussion.
Okay, travel and training, line item 442. That's, I don't know, the sheet that says their budget amount, I don't,
What?
well, whether we have enough in our budget.
We have $2,500 in that budget.
Oh, okay, all right.
But, a note here, we're gonna have to probably transfer another $1,500 into that account down the road for anticipated, training CEUs for the plant staff. Well, I've talked to Greg about that already, that we're a little low.
Yeah, okay.
Okay? Mr. Blair?
I wonder how frequent are the licenses up for renewal? Is it every 3 years or?
Well, everybody's a little bit different. The Class B operators need 24 hours every 3 years. I need 32. And John and I both have biosolids licenses. We've been watching it pretty close. I know John, he'll be up to date by going to this class. We're going to try to participate in some of these, a couple daily ones that Rural Water puts on this spring. if we can attend a couple of them. I know Jeff has got to renew an electrical license that he's done in the past. So we called the PCA and they told us that half of them hours he could use them toward his Class B license, as long as he shows a certificate of completion for that, so which works out good.
That'll be addressed under new business. Mr. Collins.
I'm just baffled at how you can achieve that many credits. I mean, if he's only getting 16 credits for a 3-day seminar, I mean, that's less than 6 hours a day, or 6 credits a day.
That's what it is. That was brought up for the budget about training too, and I did mention that's probably a little low, but I was told that we can take money from other places if we need it for the training.
Yeah, that's my goal, even after I'm done with the chair and stuff. There'll be a new document coming out to you every month that's gonna show the annual budget. And because right now, when you look at our budget, the documents you get, you always see all that red, which is because they take the yearly budget, divide it by 12, and that's what it is for that month. So if we go over it, it goes red. So now, you're gonna get a document that's gonna show month by month, it's gonna show the total budget amount that was in there, and then we'll subtract out every month so you know exactly what's left in that budget for the rest of the year. So you don't have to make that computation of, how much do we have left? Because it doesn't really show up in what we're getting in our packets, okay? Stacy and I figured that, or Stacy figured that out, I asked her to yesterday, so there'll be a new one coming at you, so you'll actually know what's left in the budget for the year, okay? All right, any other further discussions? Call for the question, Ms. Farmer?
Yes.
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 Passed. Okay, approval of Stacy Candy and any other board member to travel to a Human Resource Seminar in Bemidji on February 23rd.
Move to approve.
Mr. Billy moved,
Second.
second by Mr. Blair. Discussion?
Is the office gonna be locked that day then, or how are we gonna handle that?
I can call and see if Carol would like to come in. You'll be here for a little bit.
Yeah, I'll be here for a little bit, 2-3 hours. I'm usually here 4 hours. So.
What day is that? Is that the
It's next Tuesday.
23rd? That's a Tuesday?
Just put something on the door, Cheryl.
Yeah,
Okay,
Close to the.
well, I'll have the office open while I'm here,
okay.
and then I'll have Stacy put a sign on there, I'll just put a sign. We don't need to hire
Telephone
someone.
numbers are on the door.
Yeah,
All
$30
three.
an hour for her to come in.
Okay.
Further discussion? Call for the question?
Yes.
Farmer?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Yes. Okay, under old business, HRA legal opinion for comp time hours at a cost of $500 with Hitzman and Wold PA attorneys out of Minneapolis. I have a motion.
So moved.
Robert? Mr. Farmer, second. Good discussion. I'll open the discussion. This firm is the top firm in the nation for dealing with HRAs, whether they're legal or not, if they're set up right. They normally charge $1,000 for opinion on your plan. I talked to the legal assistant, they would charge us $500. And what we're going out for is a final opinion on our comp time hours. Is that legal or not? Is our plan legal? Do we have any deficiencies in it so that we can get a final word besides that opinion that we got last time from the League of Minnesota Cities, because it was vague in one sense. It said to go to the Department of Labor to see if there was a clause in there. So we want to lay this to rest, and that's why we'd like to go out for this opinion. And And yeah, to be compliant, if we're compliant. So, Mr. Farmer come up with this firm. I've checked it out online. Stacy has talked to
John Overton.
John Wolverton about it, and he had recommended them too. He said they're one of the best in the nation too. So then, once that opinion comes back, then we can decide which way we're gonna move on the HR plan. Okay? That's the gist of it. So it's about discussion.
Good idea.
Are they local, in
Minneapolis.
Minnesota? Okay.
Yes.
So move to approve.
It was our, Robert moved and Mr. Billing and Mr. Farmer seconded. Mr.
And this
Blair,
will be not to exceed?
yes, that's what she told me, $500 not to exceed. I'll generate that letter today. We want to get on this right away.
Okay.
Call for the question?
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me. Any more further discussion? Being none, call for the question?
Yes.
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 Pretty cheap attorney.
Okay, old business, approval for the authorizing the following reoccurring bills to be paid under the blanket authorization. 1, Blue Cross Blue Shield premiums and retiree coverage. Midco, Minnesota Power, Medicare Blue RX, Minnesota Energy, International Falls Water Bill, and the American Express card. Have a motion on that?
So moved.
Mr. Billig moved.
Second.
Mr. Thompson, second. Discussion.
I know power bills, insurance premiums, they're gonna exceed 5,000, but I thought at one point there was like a $5,000 limit where it had to come to the board for approval. So on this American Express card, I don't know. I guess I haven't seen that high of a bill on that, but
It was $182.85 this month.
yeah. Do you recall that there was a limit placed on blanket
do not.
dollar number?
I do not.
Maybe it had to do with the director's
Ability to spend.
ability to
Yeah.
spend over that much money without board approval, but I just recall something about that. I don't know if it was 1,000 or 5,000.
Yeah, well, if we, go ahead, Mr. Farmer.
This will put an end to arguing about which bills.
Absolutely,
With
absolutely.
authorization.
Yeah, that's what this is cleaning up, so we don't come back to this continuously.
And the reason that we're doing this is so we're not subject to penalties, correct?
Yes.
Further discussion? Call for the question, Mr. Farmer?
Yes.
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 Okay, finishes our business.
Under old business.
Yes.
Going through the bylaws, I did come up with this, was talking about getting an attorney opinion about your position, and I think this kind of clears it up. The only thing that we didn't do, I think, was have you appointed as acting director or temporary director. You're not really director, I guess, when we did it. So I think we'd like to appoint you as an acting director or temporary director, something like that. Going along with the 90-day thing.
Yeah. I thought we did.
So, okay, could you restate that? I was reading that while you were talking, I'm sorry.
The only thing we didn't do in our motion at the special meeting was we really didn't appoint you as a director or anything like that. You were just gonna kind of take the position to get the idea of what we wanted, but I think we'd like to appoint you as like a temporary acting director or something to that effect, to go along with that motion.
Okay. On temporary acting director until,
For that 90 days.
for the 90 days till, what's that date? Was it May 3rd? We gotta put an end date to this, because I do want out.
But I mean, it's up to you, but
But it says, motion by Billy, second by Larson, to have Chairman Ralph voluntarily serve up to 90 days as interim director.
as interim, it does say that.
Yeah.
Are you fine with that?
Yeah.
Because we can clear it up right now. Like,
Oh, that's good, I didn't see that part.
okay. Thank you for bringing that up. We're good?
I'm good.
All right. Staff and committee reports, operator report. Mr. Schneider.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, right now, we just got notice about the DMR-QA Study 36. We went through this last year. Every year we go through a DMR-QA study, and what that consists of is to make sure our lab is proficient in its testing procedures. What we do is we order these samples from an accredited proficiency testing provider. We order them from Colorado. We will get these samples in, set up all these tests, and send our results back for grading. And this is required from the state, from the MPCA. Also, all our contract labs, like PACE, who does all our phosphorus and mercury sampling, they do the same thing. I think I mentioned this last year, if you remember that we went through this last year. So the study opens in March. I believe March 18th, the study opens. We've got our samples ordered. They are on order right now, so we should be receiving them right after the study opens. And we've got until, I believe, July to complete it. So when we get this completed, our results will be forwarded to our coordinator down in the cities, which is Jennifer Thorson. It used to be Roger Fisher, who retired now. But that's one thing we're working with right now. We just got all our stuff ordered for that, for the DMR-QA study. Also, we're still working on the permit renewal. There's one application right now that we're working on. It's the big one. It's taken some time. A lot of lab information's got to go into it. We've got most of all the other applications completed, ready to submit. So when we get this this big one finished, we will submit this renewal and see what kind of response we get back, whether they approve it or if there's mistakes in it, or if they feel that they need a little more information. At least we got time to get that and research that. We had a few questions for Mark that we had to come up with on some removal efficiencies of the new plant and stuff. We got that cleared up, and that's on the application. So we are moving forward with the new permit, and so far it's looking pretty good. And Tom's been helping quite a bit as far as the lab results and stuff that we need. From our priority pollutants, toxicity testing, we got to get the results from the last 3 years and combine them all together with averages and stuff, so there's quite a bit involved with it. We also just received on January 26th another load of ferric sulfate, which came from Hawkins. They're our new distributor now. We priced it with them, and that went real well. Actually, we still had the same driver, and he knew where to come and everything, so it worked out real well. A while back, I mentioned about that air dryer in this filter building, the cycling switch that had to be replaced from Shannon's. That was finally installed from them. They had to order this special Freon for the air dryer system in case it was low. So what he did when he completed it, when he put the new switch and stuff in, he said he took all the old stuff out, cleaned the system, and installed all the new Freon. So it's got all brand new Freon. And he said, why have that extra Freon laying around? Because they don't even carry it. We'd be the only one that uses it. So that was a good move on their part. A few things we've been doing around the plant is through the construction and stuff, through the different levels in the plant, the floor drains and stuff, a lot of them are plugged up with sand and rocks and stuff, and constantly fighting it. So what John and Jeff did, they started going through each floor, each level, and the traps and stuff, the old metal traps, cutting them out, and repiping brand new PVC traps and some drain lines in. So we got good drainage on all the floors right now. So we just went ahead and took care of that instead of battling it all the time. Also, the water department was here last week, put a new water meter in the plant. And the reason they did that, it's a new updated one, and they can get their readings just from driving by on the road there and with their little monitor or whatever to pick up the reading. I did talk to Jason this morning, and it sounds like the city's gonna pick up the bill for that. So far, that's what it sounds like. Also, and then the last thing here, all of our inflow requirements were met this past month, and BOD's TSS, real good. Passed good numbers. That's all I have.
Questions? Mr. Blair? Hawkins delivered the ferry. How did they deliver that, in 55?
Big tanker truck.
A tanker truck?
Yeah, and they pressurize the truck. Got a hose they string out to the building there that feeds into the storage tank that's in the building.
And gallon storage tank it is?
5,000.
5,000.
Yep.
So they'll deliver 5,000?
Well, no, they can't haul that much.
Oh.
I think we usually end up about 3,400, 3,500. That's a full load for them as far as weight. Otherwise, they'd be over the weight limit. But our tank can hold 5,000.
Mr. Brugman, Mr. Chairman, you're talking about the permit. That's probably that is the most important document that we work with. And hopefully, when the state looks at our application, then they will send us a draft permit, I believe, for our review. And if it has changed, in other words, they put some extra limits, discharge limits on us, I think we should, right now, kind of be prepared to look for maybe some legal advice when the time comes. Hopefully, there won't be any problems. It'll be pretty much the same as the last permit. But if it isn't, we may have to treat for other constituents or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think we should, get some help with that.
Definitely.
So maybe we can be looking for. We used to have Messer was the ones we went to, but there's other people too.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Blair?
The lab test that's handled by PACE, right? Correct.
Yeah.
So they can generate.
They
can generate annual reports for Tommy, right? Or is that what they need in
For the DMRQA study?
Yeah.
What they do is they're our contract lab. They do all our phosphorus testing, our mercury testing. So what they'll do is they order tests from a provider like out of Colorado. They'll have to set up tests, send their results in, and get graded also. If they pass, them results are forwarded to our DMRQA coordinator in the cities, the MPCA, and they get a copy, our coordinator will get a copy of the tests that they do for us that pertain to our permit, pass or fail. Also, that coordinator will send us a notice that PACE passed for doing the testing for us. See, they do all kinds of testing. PACE does all kinds of testing for all kinds of entities. They do the phosphorus and mercury for us, the total ammonium nitrogen, the nitrates and stuff. They might be doing a lot of different testing for other, like City of Grand Rapids or Virginia or whatever. So they do lots of testing. And they're going to get graded on all their testing.
There's a problem with the Department of Health. This rural water testing, they were testing the wrong temperature for some parameters or something. I saw that in the news, and I don't know if this is something that's come out of the Flint water issue or what, but
Sample preservation thing is what it was.
well, they were testing for some chemicals or something, and the water temperature was the wrong temperature. So I don't know what's going to happen, how that's all going to wash out. And that might just be with municipal water. I don't know.
But we have the same requirement for some of our constituents we test for.
Some of our-
39 degrees or 40 degrees they have to.
Degree C, we got to have them samples got to be at a certain temperature when they arrive at the lab.
Right.
Now, we used to ice them down and take them uptown and ship them out, UPS or FedEx. Now Pace is coming to town once every Wednesday, picking the samples up. What we didn't understand was he'd walk out the door and open our coolers up, and we have ice down. What's going on? And he'd be stuffing snow in them. So we called them and asked about that. We called Pace. Once they touch that cooler, they're responsible for it, and they got to do whatever they can do to make sure them samples arrive at that lab.
Chain of custody changes.
Yep,
right there.
exactly. The chain of custody changes. So that's why. Now in the summer, they said they're going to be carrying coolers of ice. So they know the samples are ice. Once they touch that cooler, it's their responsibility to make sure they get to the lab at the right temperature. Before it was us.
Okay. We'll move on to the director's report. I typed one up. Mr. Rudd asked me if I would type something up instead of give it verbally, so everybody's got it in their packet. Any questions? This is not all I did. There was a lot more in there. I just didn't stick it in there. Go ahead.
You refer in here to pledges to cover our monies. What does pledges mean?
The bank, our accounts are only insured up to $250,000 by the FDICA. So anything over that, like we have over $2 million in Bremer. So what they do is they go out and they collateralize that, or they call it pledges, so that if the bank goes under, we will get our money.
Okay.
So that's what I went around to all
I thought that's
the
what it meant,
banks
but I wanted
to make sure that we were collateralized on that, and also that's how I ended up at True Star.
And the last pledge we got had from Bremer was from July.
Right, and I had Stacy pull our files out, and our files didn't show that we were really collateralized or pledged properly, but we were. So when I went and talked to them, they said we'll update everything, so we're good there. Our money's covered. Matter of fact, we're pledged for up close to 2.9 or something. Any other questions?
Good job.
Thank you. Okay, under new business. Approval for $300 for Jeff Claus online 16 CEUs course for his electrical journeyman license renewal.
So moved.
Mr. Billy moved. Robert second, or is there a second? Robert second. Discussion. Some of these credits are going to be applied to his operating. Right, wastewater permit too, or license, excuse me. Discussion.
Some years ago, we talked about Jeff seeking the top electrical license. This is not his, what's the top electrical license?
Administrator.
Class A?
Yeah, Class A, right.
And he's,
Well, no, not Class A. It's kind of like a
Master.
contracting masters. Because you can have a master's and not be a contractor, and that if you're a master contractor, then you have to have a bond to carry that license. Go ahead, Don.
what we were thinking that would save us a lot of money though, from hiring an electrical firm, if he could get a top license here at the plant.
I'll talk to him about it, see if he
I
wants
know we
to.
talked about that some time ago, and I think it might be an increase in pay or something like that. We discussed it, but nothing has happened.
Let me discuss that with him and see what's going on, and see how we're using the contractors in town. Yeah, how often, and do we actually need that license, or let me figure it out, okay? Because I'm familiar.
I
with
know
that.
we discussed this, East Cooch, and it would save us some money.
Okay. Let me report the next meeting about that, okay? Is that fine? Any further discussion?
I guess I have a question on when he does it online, does he does it on, will he do it at home on his own time, or does he do it during the working day, or how do
I
you know?
think he'll probably do it here.
It's just, how long of a course do you think it is, a couple hours, or?
Well, he said, I think it was 16 hours.
I've done these online for my electrical licenses, and it does take,
You sit there the whole time, though, right?
yeah, well, you can come and go along on, but I'm sure it's gonna take them at least 10 hours.
Okay.
Okay, there'll be no further discussion. Hang on, not hang on, please. Give me a moment here. Be no further discussion. Call for the question. Farmer?
Yes.
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 Chair votes yes. Passed. Okay, second page. Approval to pay the following blanket authorizing bills with an automatic fund transfer, ATF. 1 Midco, 2 Minnesota Power, 3 Minnesota Energy, 4 International Falls water bill.
So moved.
Robert moved.
Second.
Mr. Billy. Second. Discussion.
This is different than what we got in our packet then.
No.
Well, we have, what,
This is using the ATF fund.
yeah, this is American Express.
Means that the funds will just automatically be transferred. I'll pick a date and they'll just take the money directly out of our account to pay these bills.
Is that authorizing these companies to access our checking account?
And she'll reconcile when she gets the bill.
East Cooch has a couple of them that are like North Star Electric, and they send me the bill and they tell me what day it's coming out, and I just make sure I put it in the checkbook to the day it's coming out.
And it will be itemized on this blanket authorization, no? We'll just notice it in our financial statements.
It will be the ones that are in red, that it's already been paid.
Further discussion? Call for the question, Mr. Farmer?
Yes.
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 I vote yes. Okay, budget transfer in the amount of $1,000 from account 401 salaries admin to account 415 travel and training admin.
So move to approve.
Mr. Billy moved. Second.
Second. I'll second.
Mr. Bergelman, second. Discussion.
Evidently that we have abundant money in the admin salaries because of the
Director.
absence of the director.
That's why I took the money out of there. And, yeah, that should pretty much cover us for the year.
1,000.
Yeah, we can move stuff around if we have to, but I don't anticipate anybody else going anywhere.
You had mentioned $1,500 earlier.
That was for the plant personnel training.
Oh, that's out of a
Okay,
different budget.
there's 2 different accounts for that.
Okay. And so far, we're good with that one?
We have 2,500, we have enough in there. I'm gonna wait till,
I don't have a budget.
I'm gonna wait till Greg gives me an updated list of anticipated training and costs. We've been talking about that, and then I'll make the move on transferring there if we need to. But we have enough in that budget to cover what's going on right now, so we don't need to move anything around yet. Call for the question? Mr. Farmer?
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay, approval to wire PFA loan payment in the amount of $87,932.70, interest payment only on February 22nd, 2016.
So move to approve.
Mr. Billy moved,
Second.
Mr. Farmer second, discussion? Being none, off the question?
Yes.
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 Chair votes yes. Okay, closing out our loan with the public facilities authorities or extending. Now, this will be tied in with the engineer and stuff, but basically this is closing out our loan. So would you like to address the board on this?
One item I would like to just, I guess, Stacy, from the standpoint of just looking at Nancy's spreadsheet, on the TMDL grant portion, this is something that Chopper and Larry applied for and got way back in 2010, or whatever, and right now I did notice that, that TMDL grant was the $1,335,000. There's $14,580 left in the balance of that. So I talked to staff this morning, I'd like to contact the PFA and just see if there's any way we can access or tap for, purchasing some items related to the mercury, the mercury removal system. Because it's essentially $14,500 of grant money that is still remaining out of the $1,335,000. And we got, we're 99% there, but I mean, it's, otherwise, they may say no, but it doesn't hurt to ask, because if that money is there, and then I can work with John, and he can, look at ordering some materials or parts that he can have on hand, and they won't have, then you don't have to buy them 3 years from now with, with operating fund money. You'll be able to tap this. So that's the only thing I noticed, just, in reviewing the stuff from Nancy here. I want to ask, if we can tap those TMDL funds.
You're gonna handle that then, Mark? Are you gonna handle this then, making the application?
Well,
If we can,
I will handle sending the email, Stacy recovery, to the PFA asking about the TM dollars and just seeing if we can,
okay.
do that. Now, once you proceed with, your closeouts, Jordan Lee, our office with the funding, he'll be assisting Stacy, just payroll closeouts, wage rates, there's just stuff that this entity needs to file with PFA. We've been tracking it for 4 years, so I mean, there's just information that we will just then be assisting Stacy with and providing to the PFA, for a closeout.
Okay, so what you're recommending is that we hold off on moving on closing out till you get opinion from.
Well, I would like to ask about these TMDL dollars, just to see if if there's some way we can access those remaining grant dollars. Because, once you close out, they're done. They'll go back into their general fund and just ask if they're, we had, again, I think it was back when we did the final payment application, to Grid or Chopper asked, where are we going to be at? And I said, I know we'll be close to the 1.335 million. Okay, well, we ended up with about 1.32 million. Again, about $15,000 is left in there. That came from from Nancy Johnson and the PFA last week in an email. So I would just like to inquire, when I looked at it yesterday, I'd like to inquire if those funds are available or not.
So, Mark, the TMDL money is connected to just a filter.
The mercury removal.
Mercury removal.
Yeah, but that's your entire filter building. I mean, that tertiary process was built specifically for removing the mercury.
What kind of things do you think that would qualify for the TMDL money? What kind of projects or?
Well, it's not quite, what I'm gonna ask what I'll inquire with the PFA is right now you have the 14 airlifts there, and, they wear over time, and, John is looking at the wear and tear on them, and, he doesn't need anything immediately, but he's talking about maybe going to an HDPE material for the airlift tubes versus what was originally provided. So, again, I like to, have that discussion with the PFA and just see if that, if that's an eligible materials purchase that we could use those TM dollars for.
So this is grant money, this is not something we're gonna be borrowing.
That is correct. This is, this is, in this project, you had 3 different grant funds, totaling, and like I say, you've expended the other 2. This one, the TMDL dollar grants, it looks like there's about 14,000 and change left in it. So I'd like to inquire with the PFA if it's possible to purchase some future materials so that you just, you don't have those costs, 2 or 3 years down the road.
Okay.
Yep.
So, should we postpone this for a month till we get,
Yeah, well, I'd like to at least get that question
would a
answered.
month be okay?
Yeah, that's fine, yes, I mean, we should be able to have the answer shortly from,
Okay.
I'll
Do you
send
want a
that up.
motion to,
No, I don't think we need anything. Well,
allow Woodson Smith Knowlton to
I don't think we
make
need one.
inquiries about using the TMDL balance for
Sure,
future?
if you wanna go that route, I'll accept a motion on that.
Okay, that would be the motion then.
One second.
Okay, state your motion, please, Mr. Bergman.
Restate it.
Yes.
That the motion states that Mark Allen from WSN shall be in contact, will be in contact with the PFA authorities or about the balance left in our TMDL grant and using it for future projects or materials.
Second.
Mr. Blair, second. You got all that, Stacy? I didn't write that one.
Motion by Berman, second by Blair, to have Mark Allen of WSN, to be in contact with the PFA regarding TMDL balance and using it for future materials.
Discussion.
The question I have is, I don't see the spreadsheet we have here, PFA, the loan agreement, amortization schedule. It doesn't say anything here about TMDL. I don't know.
That's grant money.
That's a different animal.
Well, I don't know how she does her spreadsheets. I couldn't get it to print either.
There's another one at the back of that packet on the table in the middle there, Mark. There should be, that's the most recent one. Should be the very last piece.
Oh, that's your,
Okay, in the clipped part probably.
yep, thank you.
And that's the most recent one that she sent me, the amortization schedule.
Okay, that's the amortization schedule.
Yep.
Right. Yep.
TMDL, I don't have that printed here, no.
No. Well, what I can tell you, there's my hand notes from yesterday, and I wrote them down, and like I say, there was the balance figure of $580. Right, it's, in her Excel spreadsheet, she's got all these attachments, and it was off on the far left. So I just hand wrote them off my computer screen, because I couldn't get them to print. So that's why, I'm sure you couldn't get it for some reason.
Anytime you try, it doesn't print those last columns.
Right, so I don't know, so that's why, I say, I just noticed that yesterday, so I just wrote them down off her spreadsheet, and that's let's inquire about it and find out, because like I say, your WIF grant of $2,842,000, $5 is closed out, that was way back, those dollars were spent, and that's the only one with the balance remaining of your grant funds.
Well, if you look at the top corner, first page, there's a total $11 million loan, and then underneath it, $1,343,000, and you had referenced the $1,335,000. I wonder.
Well, I can answer. That's what I wrote down.
This part right up here.
Yeah.
What is that on Stacy's amortization schedule? It says final loan amount $9,688,000.
That's a loan we're talking about grant.
Yeah, but he asked a question about what these numbers meant.
All right. As far as the final loan amount, I would have to discuss with Stacy and Nancy Johnson if that's the final how they came up with that. Now they say I've not looked at this, Steve, so I'm not familiar with this. All I did was look at, when I saw the TMDL grants, from that standpoint, how that, specific numbers come up with.
Is that the 1,343,000 in parentheses, is that something that we didn't use out of the total amount of the package? Because they subtracted that from 11 million and come up with a final loan amount.
I would have that, but, the number I wrote down, is right now under the loan amount, what I wrote off, she had in there, it was 8,948,000, with your unused funds here, just 702,000.
Okay.
So like I said, I cannot answer the question exactly what the PFA has there.
I thought Nancy had a deadline when we had to close out and not request any more loans.
Well, if we wanted to close it out in June, then we had to start.
Soon, so we can wait another month.
Right.
Okay.
Can we push this out another month?
It's up to us. If
It's
we
up to
want to
us.
extend it or not. We had one extension and we can extend it. It's just that they start the closeout process in March to close it out in June.
Okay, so do we have to ask them for an extension?
Yes.
And we have to put how long we want that extension to be, so. Okay, let's dispose of this motion. And then we will move to an extension. Any further discussion? Mr. Farmer, call the question? That's yours. Mr. Billy?
Yes.
Yes.
What was the motion?
The one you made.
You made
The one I
it.
made, yes.
Yes. Yes.
The 14,000.
Okay, then,
Motion would be in order then to request an extension,
absolutely.
so move
How long could you put how long you want to move that?
1 month.
Okay. Mr. Billy moved to ask for an extension for 1 month on our PFA loan.
Second.
Mr. Farmer, second. Discussion?
So if we don't do anything more, this will be our final loan amortization schedule, Mark, is that correct? If we don't do anything more, borrow any more money, then this will be the final schedule?
Is I've not seen that, so I don't.
Oh.
Yep, I'll have to.
This is with the PFA. This is so Nancy would answer this better than Mark could.
We'll find out what I think it is.
Well, and I assume that this schedule is based on money that's already been expended. There's nothing left in the kitty.
Right, we don't pay on anything we haven't taken from them. So yes, this is money that's been spent by us. Call for the question, Farmer?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Bruggeman?
Yeah, oh, yes.
Yes.
I vote yes. Okay, 1 month extension. Okay,
Thank you.
yes, thank you. Okay. Had a phone call last week from Jim Stegmeyer from Capitolama Sewer Project. He is the board chair on Township for Capitolama. He asked us if we would be interested in bidding their maintenance and operation contract in their Class C system, treatment system in Capitolama, which they said they would be putting approximately 3 to 4 more of these systems in out there. So I asked him to come in and talk to Greg and I about it. So we had some questions just to see what was going on and stuff like that. So then Greg and I spent some time looking it over. Greg spent a lot of time, not a lot, he expended time looking over the permit and the testing, which is, there's quite a bit of testing and stuff, and I read the contract over 3 or 4 times and stuff. So I brought it to the board to see what their pleasure is. So I'll open it up for general discussion.
Can we have a summary from Greg on what his feelings is on this program?
Well, I read through it a little bit here. It's Class C facility. It's something that we're not really familiar with. It's where it's got to meet ammonia nitrogen removal of 10 milligrams per liter. We don't even have that limit here. We monitor only just for a total ammonia nitrogen, where they have to meet 10 milligrams per liter for a limit. It's kind of like, I believe it's like I say, I'm not real familiar with the system. Mark, maybe you have been familiar with some of these systems before, with denitrification, nitrification, denitrification process. You got aerators going, you're feeding carbon. As far as that part of it, it'd be something new for us. We did look at the testing procedures, twice a month for that. Biosolids annual report, you got to submit. If you transfer solids from their septic tank to the ponds or here, you got to fill out an annual biosolids report. Also, monthly an EDMR to submit to the MPCA, just like we do now. 33 stations, 10 of them are duplex hydromatic 2-horse pumps. So there's duplex stations out there, probably on resorts. Simplex ones, you can really educate the homeowners. These duplex ones, if there's resorts, tourists coming in, you know what happens. At Class C facility, you also have to be on site at least once a week.
If there is a problem with one of the stations, do they require immediate
Well, if there's, like I said, we're not positive if all the stations have telemetry. The duplex stations have telemetry coming through, where we'd set up something on the phone where you get alarms. Say if a pump went down, you got a backup, but you're going to have to respond to it, obviously, if you get a plugged pump. And then another question for the engineers would be, are they on float systems? Are they on pressure transducers?
Required response time.
We don't know that yet.
I didn't see that in the.
You didn't see that in.
But I started to generate a list of questions, and that was one of them. But I would assume it's going to be similar to your situation, I mean, it's going to be the same application. Somebody's pump gets.
That's what I was thinking, and since they're so far away, you still got a response time of, once you get on the road, an hour.
37 miles to the plant.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes. Are you done, Don?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Ruggeman?
I didn't read the whole thing, the proposal or RFP, and they're asking for a bid or whatever. Is it a bid?
Yeah.
A lump sum bid, is it, or?
Hourly bid. Annual, they're asking for an annual sum total for maintenance operation, and then the round trip work mileage from home to base site. They were going to pay federal rate, I think 57 cents a mile for a vehicle for mileage.
I don't see how we could even bid this, I mean, there's just too many questions. How much time it would take, and whether it's rebid every year or
They want a 2-year
contract.
But okay.
Yeah, I just don't think that we can commit to something like this right now. I don't think we have the staffing. It's going to take too much time away from, just travel time. It may be that we have to get a different lab certification for commercial lab rather than what we have now, and how much more that's going to cost us, time and money. Do you know, did they say that this RFP is going to other entities? Or?
I asked them, they mentioned 2 offhand. One was from Brainerd, 193 miles away. And do you recall the other one? I couldn't recall the other one, what he said. There's a person in Ely that does this kind of stuff, but he wasn't interested.
I thought it was Terry Jackson, but I talked to Terry and it wasn't him.
Oh, okay. So, when we discussed it with him, he really thought it would be a really, really good fit with us, you know, because he's so close and they consider themselves part of Koochiching County, and then he went on to explain why. They've tried to break away from St. Louis to come into our county before it was shot down, but there was issues like that, so. But I think he was probably leaning on the fact that, you know, we're the closest to him.
Yeah.
That's capable of providing the services if we wanted to, you know.
I think,
Could I, Mr. Blair had his hand up first.
We have quite a bit of background on these, and basically it has to do with the East Cooch's expansion up there in the Jackfish and the issues we had. Greg knows all the issues we had with the control panels and the alarms going off. And to have to, you know, the alarm goes off, these homeowners are gonna call us, and we're gonna have to send a guy down there ASAP, and a lot of times it's just a false alarm, right? These
It
controls.
depends what kind of panels they put in. That's another question for the engineer. What kind of panels are they gonna put in? Is it a simple panel, just on, off, and a high watered alarm, or is, you know, there's probably quite a few questions for the engineer that's engineering this, that this guy that we met with couldn't answer that. And the other thing that I noticed in the permit, we have to, within 2.5 years, somebody's gotta go get a service provider license. I don't know what that consists of. We've never had to have that here. You have to, there's another license certification we gotta get.
Well, this project is part of a bigger project, because I know Ash River has their own little component of this too, and I would think that CAB and Ash River should try to join forces and get somebody to, you know,
That's up to them.
handle both systems.
But we're talking about whether we want, what this board wants to do.
I think any bid that if we do submit a bid, it should include all that was talked about, possibly additional personnel hired by us to do this, vehicles. I think there would be quite a heck of a lot of work to
Bid it.
do a bid.
Oh, exactly, yeah, because we've looked it over right so far, you know, we'd have to expend some hours figuring it all out. Mr. Bergman.
Yeah, it'd be nice to be able to help them out. Maybe we can help do some training for somebody at some point in time, their own person. But we've got the Island View project that's gotten additional funding. Looks like that is probably going to go, and that's going to be another big addition to the system. And, you know, are we going to be able to even do that project, you know, service that project? I don't know. That's
I doubt it very much. I doubt it very much. We're going to be looking at hiring additional personnel. If the project goes through down to Island View, I do believe that we would have to look at additional personnel.
So that mean you wouldn't be contracting with us anymore?
Oh, yes, I will. But I think North Cooch would have to look at additional personnel just to service that area.
Okay, but that would be part of a new contract. Okay, yeah, that's what I was figuring out anyways. Okay. Any other discussion?
There's not a deadline when this bid is due. is
April
there?
5th.
April 5th, and that is on here somewhere?
Yeah. I think so. Oh, he told me April 5th, that's when the bids are supposed to be in.
I just think that in order for us to put together a legitimate bid, we're gonna have to hire a consultant to crunch the numbers. I don't know. I don't think we can do it in-house.
Somebody else did it first. Let's see what it's
There's too many parameters that are unknown, I think, and, I mean, if we do bid on it, are we locked into, you know, supposedly they have to haul all their sludge up here, and they wanna dump it in our ponds, and what's that gonna do to our permits?
I don't think that's gonna be a problem. They're not gonna be hauling much.
Mr. Chairman?
And, you know, and one other thing, it's a seasonal operation. They told us that there's only gonna be there's 19 properties, there's 30 connections. And so there's actually, you know, so 19 people are gonna be, and 30 connections, because there's several resorts that have multiple laterals going to their individual cabins. So.
But the ones that are gonna be year-round, you're looking at.
Just two.
You're looking at a big hotel there?
No, none of just two private properties are.
The America Inn is year-round, isn't it?
Well, I'm not sure if they're connected to this. This is what he told us at the meeting. The two resorts weren't seasonal, or were seasonal, right?
Yeah.
Now, there's 3 other projects are coming down the road for him too, so that might be covering that one, Mr. Billy.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
You know, there could be, just thinking out loud here, is that if they do the maintenance, responsible for the call-out, somebody down there, and possibly there's just some administrative and laboratory work that could be done by us. But I don't see how we can be responsible for a red light when, you know, you got a plugged up pump. We can go all the way down there.
Right. Any other discussion? I'll give you my take on it. We could do it, but it would probably take a lot of work bidding it, a lot of questions. We'd need some outside help in engineering just to figure out what's going on with the process. But I think our bid would come in so high that, you know, 19 property owners sharing maybe $60,000-$70,000 a year bid. You know, it would kind of mirror what we have with East Cooch, you know, I mean, up to so many hours and then over that. I'm apprehensive about doing it. And plus the fact that we could fund another position, right, with the bid, if they accepted it, but then what happens when an individual goes out there on a call at night, geez, I need 2 people to pull this pump or whatever. He has to call someone else from here, you know, so now we have 2 individuals out there. What happens if East Cooch has a problem, you know? Our staffing levels for backup help, you know, and what happens if he gets called out at night and the other 3 individuals are gone? Who are they going to call? You know, they're not the guy that's on call is going to be taking that call. The rest of the individuals that are working, they might not be home or don't want to come out or something. So it's like there's a lot of ifs to this thing, and it's because of the distance.
When they talk to you about this, Cab Tuggerman now has people on the maintenance of their sewer system.
Do they have one?
Yeah.
Oh,
Where is it?
Pardon?
Where is it?
Well, I see somebody around there with a truck driving with, the truck is lettered.
You mean a Honeywell?
Sewer system.
Honeywell?
No, regular maintenance truck, like that one right there.
Well, that'd be St. Louis County.
Pardon?
That'd be a St. Louis County truck, that would be.
You
That
think
one has no trucks.
Cab has nothing to do with their existing plant there?
Yeah, there isn't a plant per se.
I don't know what the city of Orr does right now with their wastewater, but there must be someone on board there in the city of Orr, and they're a lot closer than we are. I think they're probably 20-some miles away versus 37, whatever.
so I'll accept a motion to, let's make this really clean. I accept the motion to move ahead with bidding the project, and then we vote it down.
What was the motion?
Accept the motion that we go out and bid the project,
That we don't want to bid it?
that we will bid it, and we can vote it down, unless you want not to bid it. Okay, I'll accept any motion you want to make. Mr. Billig, would you make a motion?
I would so move that we do not bid this project.
I'll second.
Mr. Burns, second. Okay, now. If we, discussion, any more discussion?
I don't know if our direction would change if we had SEH come up and explain the process more to us. I don't know if these lines are directionally drilled in, or, I mean, we don't get into anything like that. They're directionally drilled in, and it's basically lift stations, feed grinders, feeding above ground sand mounds, and it's like a...
When I call them and tell them our decision and stuff, I'll tell them, you can bring it back to the board at some future time. If we want to reconsider it, we can. So, if we vote yes, then that's voting the motion, approving the motion, right? I want to make sure on this. Yeah. Right.
If a vote is yes, we're not going to bid it. If we vote no, then it's up on the table again.
Okay, call for the question.
Yes.
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 Chair votes yes.
I just, like I said, mentioned earlier, this is just a piece of the larger
Puzzle.
I mean, Ash River is gonna be coming, looking for someone to take care of theirs, and I think it's just...
All right, we're done with that one. Okay, correspondence, none. Anybody from the audience would like to address the board at the end? Being none, next meeting. Okay. Our administrative assistant is going to possibly be gone from March 7th to the 11th. So I would like to set our meeting on March 16th or 17th, which would be a Wednesday or Thursday, or the following Tuesday on the 22nd.
22nd.
That work?
She's gone 23rd of...
No, she's gone the week of the 7th through the 11th.
When's the HR meeting? February?
No, we have an HR meeting.
You're one in Bemidji.
Oh, 23rd of February, next Tuesday.
Oh, that's February, okay. So, 22nd of March. Sounds good.
22nd of March, Tuesday, 8 a.m.
I'm gonna be gone all next month,
Okay?
and, but I talked to Stacy and if I can attend via FaceTime, we know that,
Did you bring your computer today?
not today, no, I can bring it in. I'll call again so that you can bring your,
I brought mine today. It was-
oh. Okay,
I won't be here.
Robert's gone the
Maybe
22nd.
we ought to change it then.
Roberts, you're gonna be gone for the whole month.
So it wouldn't matter, Johnny and Robert
So,
both gone the whole
you're gonna be gone?
1, 2, 3, 4, we'll have 5.
We'll have 5 if everybody shows.
FaceTime, you can only do one.
I'll be here. I'll be here, Mr. Farmer, you don't know.
Yeah. I'll be here.
I got a hospital board meeting on the 22nd,
What time?
8 o'clock in the morning.
Well,
I'll be down to Fort Lake.
how about the 16th then? You're gonna be gone.
That's East Cooch Day though,
Not
right?
necessarily.
East Cooch can,
We meet at 11 o'clock.
yeah, that would, then we should be good. 16th?
So Wednesday?
I'll be gone 16th.
That's gonna be 3 people on that day. That'll be,
Let's go to the 22nd. I'll
We can do it later.
Let's make this
right?
meeting,
Yeah, we
I'll
can-
forget the board meeting.
No, we can do it.
What time of day would be better, Don?
How about the 23rd?
23rd's good.
Yeah, so that we have, most people we can try to get here, so we won't lack a quorum.
What
Somebody
day's
might
March
get sick.
23rd?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, March
All right.
23rd.
Everybody happy with that?
Am I gonna have to scribble out any
Got
more?
their planners on it?
Wednesday?
Okay. Next meeting is April 23rd at 8 a.m.
March 23rd.
Or March 23rd. Okay. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
As far as motion to adjourn, we're adjourned. Thank you.